All right, let's take a look at problem number 3, another solving an absolute value equation problem. All right, what I notice about this problem right here is that I have two numbers in the way again. I have a 5 and a plus 6 in the way of solving this equation. So I need to get rid of them. So first I'm going to subtract the 6. So I'm going to 5 absolute value of x minus 7 is equal to negative 5. Then I'm going to divide out the 5. So dividing out 5 gives me absolute value of x minus 7 equals negative 1. Okay. Now you can break this into two cases, which I will do in a moment. But first I notice something. I have absolute value equal to a negative number. Now let's think back to what we said at the beginning. Absolute value is equal to a distance, and a distance is always a positive value. And guess what? This is going to have no solution. All right? And if you recognize that you have absolute value equal to a negative number, again, after the absolute value is isolated, if you have absolute value equal to a negative number, that's an automatic no solution because I can't have absolute value give me a negative output, okay? Here's how I could prove it though. And again, if you recognize this on a test, you can stop right there. But if you broke into cases, you would have x minus 7 equals negative 1. And then you could also have x minus 7 equals positive 1, okay? And then solving this, I would get x equals negative 8. No. You're adding 7 to both sides. My bad. You're going to get x equals 6. And on the second one, you're going to get x equals 8. Okay? And then when you go to check, that's where you're going to run into issues. So when I check this, I'm going to get 5 absolute value of 6 minus 7 plus 6 equals 1. And when I do that, I'm going to get 5 absolute value of negative 1 plus 6 equals 1. So I'm going to get 5 times 1 plus 6 equals 1, which is not true. Okay, that's actually 11 equals 1. Right? And if I go through the second check, you'll see that the other one also doesn't work. So you'll see this doesn't work and this doesn't work. Okay, so if I go through the other check, I'm going to get 5 absolute value of 8 minus 7 plus 6 equals 1. And I'm going to get 5 absolute value of 1 plus 6 equals 1. So again, I'm going to get 5 plus 6 is equal to 1, which is not true. Okay, which is why there's no solution to this particular one. Again, if you recognize it back up here, you are allowed to stop and move on. Now let's take a look at problem number 4. Problem number 4, we're back to having the absolute value already isolated, but now we have something different. We have a variable on the right-hand side. So this is still going to be treated in the same way, but this is where we're more likely to get some solutions that work and some that don't. All right, so I'm ready to break into cases right away. So I'm going to go a minus 2 is equal to 2a minus 10. That's one case. The other case, I could negate the inside or negate the outside. I'm going to negate the inside this time. I'm going to get negative a plus 2 is equal to 2a minus 10. Okay. Again, the opposite that you could have done is you could have left it as a minus 2 and negated the right-hand side, which would have given you negative 2a plus 10. Okay. Negate the entire side. Okay. Now let's go ahead and solve these. See what happens. So over here, I'm going to subtract a to get negative 2 equals a minus 10. I'm going to add the 10 to get a equals 8. All right. Then on the other side, let's see, I am going to go from this bottom line. I'm going to add the negative 2a over to get 3a minus 2 equals 10. So 3a equals 12, a equals 4. All right. And now I need to check both answers. So let's check the a equals 8 first. I'm going to do absolute value of 8 minus 2 equals 2 times 8 minus 10. Again, always check in the original equation, never a modified equation. So that gives me the absolute value of 6 is equal to 16 minus 10. So I get 6 is equal to 6. That works. This is a solution. Now if I check the other, I'm going to get the absolute value of 4 minus 2 equals 2 times 4 minus 10. All right, so that's going to give me the absolute value of 2 is equal to 8 minus 10. Well, the absolute value of 2 is 2. 8 minus 10 is negative 2. This is not true. So this is not a solution. So I'm going to cross it off. Okay? So this only has one real solution, and that is a equals 8. The a equals 4 is an extraneous solution because it doesn't give me a true statement when I plug it into the original equation. All right, there are examples 3 and 4. Next up, we're going to talk about some inequalities.